into the game and you trail by 3. Oklahoma with a lot of momentum and field position to be aggressive.
Rattler looked to the left. He saw single coverage out there, and he finds Willis. What an effort to get the first down. To the 20-yard line. They did their best, did those Cyclones, to knock him back, but he's a powerful 6'3", 236.
With the absence of Stagnant, it's forced Braden Willis and Jeremiah Hall to kind of carry the load, and that was a heck of a play by Braden Willis, refusing to go down, knowing what he needed to get for the first down.
Now you have to use your timeouts.
They will have to, certainly after this next play. You don't want to do it now that you left the play clock go this far. They're at the 20. Single coverage outside again. It's Stevenson. Faked it to him, and it's Rattler. Thrown down. And here comes the first timeout called by Matt Campbell.
I tell you, I'm so impressed with what Spencer Rattler did there. First of all, he let the play clock go all the way down.
First time out of the half.
And
30 seconds in length.
Then when he ran the football, he was aware to not go out of bounds, to go down in the field of play, continue the clock running, and then force the timeout to be called. Watch this at the end. He knows, stay in bounds, get down. Right there. It's a very smart heads-up play by the quarterback.
And a good call, too, by Lincoln Riley. You know they're going to, on the defensive side for Iowa State, load up on Ramondre Stevenson.
Right.
Rattler family's here. Dad, Mike, Mom, Sue. Sister Olivia. Spencer told us that his dad is still his, as he said, biggest coach.
Yep.
Then he quickly said, other than Coach Riley. But his dad has coached him his entire life, and he's done a terrific job.
Talks to him a couple times a week, and Spencer said, you know, he talks to me about being organized, making sure all my stuff is organized. My house is clean. He gets a haircut every week, get a fresh haircut every week. Feels like if he feels clean and organized, it's going to help the way he plays on the field. He's played well tonight.
2nd and 10. 2:19 to go. 2 timeouts for each team. Rattler again. Rattler. We've passed some traffic. Got swung down by Greg Eisworth, the 5th-year senior. First team all Big 12 for the 3rd year in a row.
It's called their second time out of the half.
One of the players who
30 seconds in length.
helped turn this around. And think about what it was like when he first got here.
Yeah.
And what it is like now.
This is Mike Rose, the Conference Defensive Player of the Year that Spencer Rattler kind of makes miss and adds some yardage to that play before the tackle by Eisworth.
So a big 3rd down and 5 here.
And if Lincoln Riley, if you'd have told him you would be winning in the 4th quarter, 24-21, and be 1 for 10 on 3rd down, probably wouldn't have believed you. That is not very good for this Sooner offense. Credit to the Iowa State defense, but no bigger 3rd down play than this one right here.
The offense stagnant here late in the year. 264 yards of offense in the win against Baylor last week. The lowest of the Lincoln Riley era.
I think part of that, though, was the fact that there was so much disruption in their schedule. They had their game against West Virginia canceled twice and only 1 game in 28 days.
Well, it's about winning, and this is a play to take a big step toward victory if they can convert on 3rd and 5. Plenty of time for Rattler. Throws to the end zone, incomplete. Intended for Jaden Hazelwood. The Sooner sideline wants a flag, and I don't think they're going to get it. Lawrence White had the coverage. So here comes the field goal team. An enormous stop for Iowa State. Even with a field goal, it's still a 1-score game.
Well, and not only is it a great stop, but because it was an incomplete pass, it stops the clock, and Iowa State able to save their last timeout.
So here's Burkich. 1 for 2 today. Made a career-long 54-yarder. This to force Iowa State to score a touchdown. 32 yards, good. 27-21. But the dream is still alive for Brock Purdy. Visited places like Boise State and Alabama and Texas A&M, but he was captivated by Matt Campbell and his staff. Said, I wanted to go someplace and build something and do things that they've never done before. And they've never won an outright conference championship at Iowa State ever.
Yeah.
A chance to do it now. I mean, it's kind of been a magical season. It's just the ending waiting to be written.
Yeah, and if you're a guy like Brock Purdy who loves football the way he does, these are the kind of things you dream about. You know, when you're playing out in the street or out in the backyard and you're pretending to be an announcer, you put yourself in these kind of situations if you're a quarterback. You know, this much time on the clock, I got one timeout. We're one score away. A touchdown can win the Big 12 championship for us. You couldn't ask for a better situation if you're Brock Purdy.
.201 to go, one timeout. Well, kickoff returns have been huge. They're lined up like they're going to onside kick this, and they faked it.
Just to mess up the return setup a little bit. A little trickeration that time by Shane Beamer, Lincoln Riley.
Oklahoma, the two big kickoff returns to set up scores today. It was Iowa State, an 85-yard kickoff return in the regular season game. From this man, Kanae Nwangu. Kanae Nwangu tripped up at the 30 on a huge tackle by Robert Barnes. So 70 yards to go for the first conference title since 1912. The only other one was in 1911. Neither one of them was an outright title. Iowa State was alone atop the regular season standings this year in the Big 12 at 8-1. Oklahoma right behind them. But it is the winner of the championship game that is the champion. Looked like Oklahoma was offside, and there is a flag down. Perkins got to Purdy. It looked like the Sooners were a bit premature across the line.
Yeah, I think Nick Benito, number 11, was clearly across the line. It's going to negate this sack. This defense has 3 sacks today, 2 interceptions off of Brock Purdy. That time a little anxious on first down.
Offside. Defense. Number 11. Russo going out the snap. 5-yard penalty. Replay. First down. The clock will start on the snap with the foul under 2 minutes. Please set the game clock to 150, please. 150.
The problem for Iowa State, though, is even though they got the penalty and Brock Purdy wanted to take advantage of a free play, they are having trouble blocking Perrion Winfrey, and he is hitting him on the inside.
2 fourth-quarter comebacks against Oklahoma and Texas. This is the only time they've ever beaten those 2 powerhouses in the same year. Part of this magical season. Dumped off in some running room. Xavier Hutchinson runs out of bounds just shy of midfield. Near the 48-yard line. 1st and 10. Iowa State, they'll put it back at the 47.
Nice call by Tom Manning, anticipating pressure. It was a quick throw and a crossing route, which you run against man coverage. And Hutchinson with another big play tonight.
Out of bounds to stop the clock. There's Tom Manning, offensive coordinator, longtime friend of Matt Campbell. They were college teammates at Mount Union. They learned a lot about winning. Purdy sends it down to Brees Hall. Short game, but they're to midfield, maybe even the 49. Official hasn't spotted the ball yet. They'll put it at the 50. 3-yard pickup.
Still in need of a chunk play. They've got good field position. They've got 1 timeout, but they need a touchdown.
Certainly enough time with the timeout. Well, the rising stars in coaching. He's not rising anymore. He's a star. Matt Campbell, Big 12 Coach of the Year for the 3rd time in 4 years. Purdy. High throw caught by Hutchinson. His helmet comes flying off. And they throw a flag. It was a 1-yard gain to Sean White. In on the tackle. And that offensive line looks tired now. They've been running after Purdy all day. Not as much pressure here lately.
It's the same play that they ran to the other side.
Oh, that's a face mask.
Yeah, that's clearly a face mask, and it was a good defensive play.
Face mask grabbing the helmet opening defense. 15-yard penalty. Number 8 may remain in the game due to the foul pulling off the helmet. First down.
Give Purdy a lot of credit, too. He's been hanging in there with pass rush all over him all day
Clock
long.
will be on the snap.
And he's just shown presence in the pocket and also the ability to stare down the gun barrel and throw the ball knowing that he's going to get hit.
If I'm Oklahoma right now on this play, the guy that even though Hutchinson has made a ton of big plays, the guy I'm going to pay attention to where he is right here, 88, Kohler. This is the part of the field where Brock Purdy looks for him.
Purdy pressured again this time. Gets away, running out of time. Dodges another defender. Throws down the field, incomplete. Trying to get it to Chase Allen. And Delarian Turner-Yell had the coverage.
Beautiful play by Turner-Yell. I mean, first of all, Brock Purdy continues this knack of being a magician, eluding three rushers. He gets away from Isaiah Thomas and then makes the throw. But watch the play by Turner-Yell at the end. Just fights that ball out. That's an incredible offensive play by Purdy and a defensive play by Turner-Yell. Thanks to the Dr. Pepper Pylon Camp for that shot.
1:18 to go. Iowa State driving, down by 6. They were down by 17. The right side of the offensive line moved.
Yep, sure did. It's going to be 2nd and 15.
What dramatic twists and turns down the stretch in this conference championship game.
False start. Offense. Number 55, 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Darrell Simmons. This line has battled the outstanding Oklahoma D-line all day. So the ball goes back to the 38, 1:18 to go, one timeout for the Cyclones. Brock Purdy, 2 costly interceptions earlier. They won't remember those in Ames if he can get him in the end zone on this drive.
There's movement again. This time it's the left tackle, Sean Foster. There was motion, and so it was a long snap count, and the left tackle moved.
False start. Offense. Number 75, 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Another 5th-year senior, Foster, who was here before the program turned around.
Now, obviously, if you're Brock Purdy here, you just got to think about some productive plays here. You're obviously 4-down territory from here on out. You don't have to get all of this 20 back in one play.
And they better hurry up. Play clock down to 10.
The timeout.
Down to 3 as Purdy takes the snap. Out wide to Hutchinson. Nice call. They get about 10 yards back and get out of bounds. Again, the play clock winding down.
Kohler and Hutchinson, those are the 2 guys.
So you can't waste your time out with the clock stopped.
No, they're a mess.
They're going to have to do it. They just do snap it. Didn't look like anybody moved. Purdy, can he rescue this? Purdy lofts it up. Jump ball, and it is intercepted by Trey Brown. Another huge play by the senior from Tulsa. And another critical mistake by Purdy. And you have to put some of that on the sideline. It was a fire drill.
Yeah, this started off poorly. You don't want to waste the timeout, but you probably should have taken it here. Deshaun White with the quick pressure, and Purdy just not able to get enough on that football. third interception of the football game for Oklahoma. Again, what's the difference in this Oklahoma team on defense? Their front and their secondary getting takeaways now.
Trey Brown, really the player of the game for them. His 2 kickoff returns were enormous and momentum turners and set up scores. And Brock Purdy, such a great competitor, tried to do too much there. And again, the length of time it took to get that play in is something Matt Campbell and his staff will be kicking themselves about for a long time. So unless a disaster strikes the Sooners, this will be their 6th straight conference championship. In the previous 5, more often than not, almost always it was the offense carrying the defense. It's the other way around right now for Oklahoma. The quarterback comparison, Rattler and Purdy. And Alex Grinch told us yesterday, turnovers. That's the whole game as far as I'm concerned.
Yep.
Turnovers. His defense took it away 3 times on 3 picks thrown by Purdy. And Oklahoma did not turn it over at all today.
And Trey Brown is one of the fastest players in college football, but he always struggled with takeaways. And now he gets his 3rd interception, and it seals the game.
Iowa State has taken some major steps forward, but this one will hurt for a while. They fought valiantly, but couldn't finish the comeback. And Oklahoma is the Big 12 champion for the 6th year in a row. And for the 14th time in the 25-year history of this conference. Texas next most of 3. That's how much the Sooners have dominated the Big 12.